Let's dive into the humorous tale of Tokugawa Ieyasu, filled with unexpected twists and turns. In the year 1542, within the walls of Okazaki Castle in Mikawa province, a bundle of joy arrived. It was the legitimate son of the 8th-generation head of the Matsudaira clan, Matsudaira Hirotada. This little bundle, named Takechio, would grow up to be none other than Tokugawa Ieyasu. Now, picture this. Takechio, who was supposed to be a hostage in the Imagawa clan, found himself betrayed by his own retainers and sold off to the Oda forces. Talk about a lousy turn of events. It's like being handed a gift certificate for a cozy dinner only to discover it's actually expired. Let's rewind a bit. At that time, Mikawa province was sandwiched between two formidable foes. In the east, there was Imagawa Yoshimoto, and in the west, Oda Nobuhide. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a katana. It was like living on a perpetual roller coaster, where danger lurked around every corner. In 1547, young Takechio faced his first major trial. Oda Nobuhide, smelling an opportunity, launched an invasion towards Okazaki Castle. Matsudaira Hirotada, in a desperate plea for aid, reached out to Imagawa Yoshimoto, who, cunningly, demanded Takechio as a hostage in return for his support. Talk about an intense negotiation tactic. Now, here's where things take a hilarious turn. Matsudaira Hirotada reluctantly agreed to the hostage demand, sending Takechio on a journey to Suruga with his trusted retainers. But, oh boy, those retainers had some ulterior motives up their sleeves. In a shocking twist of events, they decided to sell off Takechio to the Oda forces for a hefty sum of money. It's like trying to protect your priceless Pokémon card collection, only to find out your best friend has auctioned them off on eBay. You see, Matsudaira Hirotada's youth and inexperience made him an easy target for disloyal retainers looking to jump ship to the Oda clan. It seems like betrayal was trending back then. Just like those questionable fashion choices we make but regret later. But fear not. This was just the beginning of Ieyasu's extraordinary journey, filled with resilience, wit, and triumph. Little did those deceitful retainers know that they were merely adding fuel to the fire that would shape the future of Japan. So, grab some popcorn, sit back, and enjoy the roller coaster ride that is Tokugawa Ieyasu's life. Remember, even in the face of betrayal, there's always room for laughter and unexpected victories. Let's embark on a humorous journey through the life of Tokugawa Ieyasu, from his days as a hostage in the Imagawa clan to the epic battle of Okehazama. So, picture this, young Takechio, who had spent about 2 years as a hostage in the Oda clan, suddenly finds himself on a wild hostage exchange adventure. At the tender age of 8, he gets transferred to the Imagawa clan. Now, here's the kicker, his father, Matsudaira Hirotada, had already kicked the bucket, leaving the castle's defense in the hands of his loyal retainers. Talk about a surprising inheritance. Now known as Jerusalem Motochika, Takechio begins his life as a hostage under the rule of the Imagawa clan. Essentially, Okazaki Castle becomes their vacation home, decorated with Imagawa clan flags and souvenir samurai swords. Fast forward to 1555, and our young hostage is all grown up and ready to celebrate his coming of age. The Imagawa clan, feeling generous, bestows upon him the name Motoyuki. But wait, there's more. 2 years later, at the age of 16, Motoyuki decides he's had enough of the name game and changes it to Motoyasu. It's like going through multiple rounds of online username changes, trying to find the perfect one that captures your true essence. Now, here comes the juicy part. The Imagawa clan had big plans for our hostage-turned-warrior. They wanted to groom him into a prominent general within their ranks. But hold on to your samurai helmets, because fate had other plans. In the legendary Battle of Okehazama, the Imagawa clan's grand scheme takes a hilarious detour. Picture this: the Imagawa forces, marching triumphantly towards Kyoto, suddenly find themselves ambushed by the sneaky Oda Nobunaga and his tiny army of a few thousand soldiers. It's like trying to be a ninja, only to be caught in a giant game of hide and seek with the neighborhood kids. In the midst of the chaos, our very own Motoyasu, still sporting the Imagawa clan colors, realizes that the tables have turned. Upon hearing of Imagawa Yoshimoto's defeat, he seizes the moment and decides to break free from his hostage status. It's like finally ditching the parental control settings on your computer and embracing the freedom of the internet. And that, my friends, is how the young hostage-turned-hero, Tokugawa Ieyasu, starts his journey towards shaping the future of Japan. From hostage to independent warrior, he navigates the treacherous world of war and politics with a touch of wit and a pinch of absurdity. So, buckle up your samurai belts and get ready for the roller coaster ride that is Tokugawa Ieyasu's life. Once upon a time in the land of Mikawa, a brave warrior named Tokugawa Ieyasu emerged from the clutches of the mighty Imagawa clan. Feeling like a fish out of water, he sought refuge with another formidable warlord, Oda Nobunaga. In the year 1562, our hero marched into Oda's domain and requested an audience. With a nervous smile, Ieyasu assured Nobunaga that he harbored no ill will towards the Oda clan. It was like showing up at your neighbor's house uninvited but insisting you're just there for a friendly chat. To seal the deal, Ieyasu and Nobunaga decided to become best buddies and signed the Kyosu Alliance. Think of it as a medieval version of a BFF Forever pact, complete with matching friendship bracelets and secret handshakes. But that's not all. Our protagonist, feeling all empowered after breaking free from the clutches of the Imagawa clan, decided it was time for a makeover. In a dramatic fashion statement, Ieyasu bid farewell to his old name, like shedding an outdated username, and embraced the new moniker, Ieyasu. It's like going from Super Samurai 123 inches to Epic Warlord 96 inches and feeling like the coolest kid on the feudal block. With a newfound sense of purpose and a snazzy new name, Ieyasu set out on a conquest to bring unity to the land of Mikawa. Armed with determination and a whole lot of wit, he crushed the rebellion known as the Mikawa Ikko Ikki in 1564. It's like facing off against a gang of rowdy neighborhood kids but subduing them with a stern look and a well-timed pun. With the dust of victory settling, Ieyasu continued his victorious march, bringing both East Mikawa and West Mikawa under his control. The land of Mikawa was finally united, and the victorious Ieyasu rejoiced. As if destiny itself approved of his triumph, the imperial court bestowed upon him the prestigious title of Junior 5th Rank, Lower Grade, Mikawa Protector in 1566. To mark this momentous occasion, Ieyasu decided it was time for a surname upgrade. The humble Matsudaira was left behind, and the grand Tokugawa name took its place. It's like going from being called Average Joe to Super Samurai Supreme, with a personalized theme song and a cape to match. And thus, our hero's journey continues, as Tokugawa Ieyasu, the newly anointed warrior of Mikawa, embarks on a quest to shape the future of Japan with a blend of shrewd strategies and a healthy dose of humor. The stage is set, the players are in position, and the world awaits the next chapter in this epic tale of samurai, alliances, and catchy new names. Let's dive into the comical tale of Tokugawa Ieyasu's misadventure in the face of the mighty Takeda clan during the infamous Battle of Sekigahara. In the year 1572, the fearsome Takeda Shingen, after a leisurely stroll through Kai province, decided it was time for some fun and games. He joined forces with the Asai clan from northern Omi, the Asakura clan from Echizen, and the Ishiyama Honganji anti-Oda faction from Osaka. Together, they swooped down from Shinano and invaded the distant land of Toyotomi, seeking to give Ieyasu a wild run for his money. Ieyasu, feeling the pressure, decided to set up camp in his trusty Hamamatsu castle. With a flourish of desperation, he called upon his buddy Oda Nobunaga for backup. The duo amassed an army of approximately 11,000 soldiers, ready to defend the castle against the impending Takeda invasion. It was like a quirky buddy comedy, with Ieyasu as the slightly neurotic hero and Nobunaga as the bold but unpredictable sidekick. Little did Ieyasu know that the Takeda army had a trick up their sleeves. Just when they were supposed to charge straight towards Hamamatsu Castle, they pulled a classic plot twist and abruptly changed course. They headed towards Mikawa province instead, leaving Ieyasu scratching his head in confusion. It was like playing a game of chess and suddenly realizing your opponent had skipped a move to mess with your head. Caught off guard by this unexpected turn of events, Ieyasu couldn't resist taking the bait. He saw it as a challenge he couldn't back down from. With a glimmer of hope, he devised a clever plan to surprise the Takeda forces from behind. However, little did he know that Shingen had an uncanny ability to anticipate such moves. It was like trying to outwit a mastermind only to realize they had already predicted every move you could possibly make. To further taunt Ieyasu, the Takeda army resorted to unconventional tactics. They began hurling stones at the Tokugawa forces, like mischievous kids throwing pebbles at a beehive. The Tokugawa samurai, unable to resist the temptation, launched an impromptu attack without waiting for Ieyasu's command. It was like a chaotic game of tag where everyone starts running in different directions without any clear rules. At first, the Tokugawa forces seemed to have the upper hand. They held their ground and fought valiantly. But as the battle raged on, the overwhelming difference in numbers started to take its toll. Soon enough, Ieyasu found himself in a not-so-heroic situation, fleeing in defeat. It was like being caught in a game of hide-and-seek, where you're the one who always gets caught and has to make a mad dash to the nearest hiding spot. Finally, Ieyasu managed to escape the battlefield and scurry back to the safety of Hamamatsu Castle. Alas, victory eluded him this time, and he had to count his losses. Many loyal retainers sacrificed themselves to protect their bumbling lord. It was a bit like a slapstick comedy, where the hero gets into one absurd situation after another, but somehow manages to come out alive, albeit a little worse for wear. And thus, Tokugawa Ieyasu learned a valuable lesson in the art of battle, strategy, and the importance of checking for hidden twists and turns. This setback would only fuel his determination to rise again, like a quirky underdog hero in a comedy movie, ready to turn the tables and have the last laugh. Let's unravel the humorous tale of Tokugawa Ieyasu's perilous journey known as the Divine Lord's Iga Crossing. Just a day before Oda Nobunaga met his untimely end at the hands of Akechi Mitsuhide. During the incident at Hanaji, our dear Tokugawa Ieyasu was enjoying a delightful tea gathering with merchants in Sakai. Little did he know that the next day would bring shocking news. As Ieyasu prepared to set off for Kyoto, he caught wind of the tragic news of Nobunaga's demise. In his entourage were around 30 loyal retainers, including renowned figures like Honda Tadakatsu and Naomasa, the fearsome Four Heavenly Kings of the Tokugawa clan. But with such a meager force, they were no match for a formidable army. It was like a comical situation where the hero's sidekick accidentally brings a water gun to a sword fight. Responding to the persuasions of his faithful retainers, Ieyasu reluctantly made the decision to retreat to his homeland of Mikawa. This became known as the misfortune of the Divine Lord's Iga crossing. At this point, Ieyasu had more than just Akechi Mitsuhide's men to worry about. The loyalty of Nobunaga's other retainers was uncertain, and there was the looming threat of attacks from local warlords and peasants defending their territories. In particular, the prospect of armed farmers turning into rogue samurai hunters to protect their villages was a terrifying prospect. In fact, Akechi Mitsuhide himself fell victim to such hunters after slaying Nobunaga, and the wounds he sustained became fatal. Fending off the armed farmers and aided by loyal Oda vassals like Hasegawa Shuichi and Nishio Yoshitsugu along the treacherous path, Ieyasu and his entourage braved the hardships and successfully reached Mikawa province. It was like a comedic movie scene where the bumbling hero faces one obstacle after another but manages to stumble through with the help of unlikely allies. Finally safe in Mikawa, Ieyasu found himself in a unique position. He could observe the rising star Toyotomi Hideyoshi, who was locked in fierce battles against the remaining Oda loyalists as he aimed to conquer all of Japan. It was like watching a rival in a marathon stumble, giving Ieyasu a chance to catch his breath and strategize. And so, the tale of the Divine Lord's Iga crossing added a touch of comedy to Ieyasu's eventful journey, reminding us that even in the midst of chaos, there's always room for unexpected twists, unlikely alliances, and a dash of humor. Let's add a humorous touch to the tale of Tokugawa Ieyasu's adventures during the battles of Komaki and Nagakute. After the incident at Hanaji, Tokugawa Ieyasu embarked on a quest to conquer the unattended provinces of Kai, Shinano, and Kazuke. To achieve this, he formed alliances and marital ties with the Hojo clan, eventually rising to become a daimyo ruling over 5 provinces, including Toyotomi and Mikawa. In 1584, Ieyasu found himself facing off against Toyotomi Hideyoshi's forces, who had become his rival after the death of Oda Nobunaga. He joined forces with Nobunaga's second son, Oda Nobuo, to come to his aid. This set the stage for the famous battles of Komaki and Nagakute. Now, picture this. Ieyasu's army, with a modest 16,000 soldiers, faced off against an overwhelming force of approximately 100,000 troops led by Toyotomi Hideyoshi. It's like a classic David and Goliath scenario, but with samurai and warlords. Undeterred by the odds, Ieyasu's forces put up a spirited defense on Komaki Mountain, managing to repel the advancing Toyotomi army. Emboldened by this victory, they proceeded to surprise attack Hideyoshi's troops in the Battle of Nagakute, slaying prominent generals such as Ikeda Tsuneoki, Ikeda Motosuke, and Mori Naganari. It was a bitter defeat for Hideyoshi, who had been on a winning streak until then. I can almost imagine Ieyasu giving a cheeky wink to his troops after each successful maneuver. After about 8 months of intense fighting, the battles of Komaki and Nagakute came to an end. Oda Nobuo, having been offered peace terms by Toyotomi Hideyoshi, accepted and withdrew from the conflict. With no further reason to fight, Ieyasu, who had joined the battles under the pretext of aiding Nobuo, returned to his domain in Mikawa. It's like leaving a party early because the music stopped and the snacks ran out. In 1586, Hideyoshi approached Ieyasu with the intention of making him submit. But being the stubborn warrior he was, Ieyasu refused to bow down. Not one to give up easily, Hideyoshi made a surprising move. He offered his own sister, Princess Asahi, as a wife to Ieyasu, thus making them brothers-in-law. Talk about an unexpected turn of events. Following their newfound familial connection, Ieyasu visited Hideyoshi at Osaka Castle. In front of other feudal lords, he pledged his loyalty, sealing the deal with a grand display of allegiance. He even joined forces with Hideyoshi's army during the Odawara campaign of 1590, where he showcased his military prowess and achieved great success. It's like becoming best buddies with someone after initially being reluctant roommates. As a result, Ieyasu lost control of his beloved provinces of Mikawa, Toyotomi, Suruga, Kai, and Shinano. In exchange, he was granted the title of the Kanto region's supreme military commander. While he had to bid farewell to his hometown of Mikawa, he couldn't exactly argue with Hideyoshi's decision and reluctantly accepted it. It's like getting evicted from your childhood home but being offered the position of the neighborhood watch captain in return. And so, the tale of the battles of Komaki and Nagakute intertwined comedy and valor, showcasing Ieyasu's resilience, unexpected alliances, and a dash of strategic wit in the face of daunting odds. Let's inject some humor into the story of Tokugawa Ieyasu's preparations for conquering the realm. Having received the gift of the Kanto region, Tokugawa Ieyasu focused on managing his newfound territory and implementing military reforms. He spared no effort in strategically placing his powerful retainers throughout the region. Like setting up a game of feudal lords' chess. You see, Toyotomi Hideyoshi had hoped to weaken Ieyasu's growing power. But little did he know. His plan backfired as Ieyasu smoothly extended his control over the Kanto region. It was like trying to deflate a balloon, only to realize you accidentally blew more air into it. Ieyasu was not one to waste opportunities. He eagerly welcomed former retainers of the Takeda clan and loyalists of the Hojo clan into his ranks, boosting his military strength to new heights. It was like assembling an all-star team of samurai superheroes. Who needs Avengers when you have the Takeda and Hojo clans on your side? As Ieyasu diligently prepared for his future ambitions, his enemies must have scratched their heads in confusion. Wait, we tried to undermine him, but now he's even stronger? How did that happen? It's like unintentionally making someone stronger by throwing obstacles in their path. With each passing day, Ieyasu's influence in the Kanto region expanded like an all-you-can-eat buffet. His rule was so smooth and efficient that even the paperwork for managing the territory seemed like a breeze. Maybe he had a secret ninja secretary handling it all. While Toyotomi Hideyoshi intended to trim Ieyasu's power, he inadvertently provided him with the perfect platform to solidify his position. It's like trying to step on a bug, only to discover it has wings and flies away triumphantly. In the end, Ieyasu's meticulous groundwork laid the foundation for his ultimate goal: conquering the realm. As he amassed a formidable military force and established a well-organized governance system, he couldn't help but chuckle at the irony of his situation. Who knew that the very obstacles thrown his way would pave the path to his success? So, in this comedic twist of fate, Tokugawa Ieyasu turned the tables on his opponents, transforming their attempts to weaken him into stepping stones for his rise to power. It's like juggling swords while riding a unicycle and coming out on top. Let's add some humor to the story of Tokugawa Ieyasu and the decisive Battle of Sekigahara. As Tokugawa Ieyasu steadily grew in power in the Kanto region, he saw an opportunity to put the final touches on his grand plan for conquering the realm when Toyotomi Hideyoshi kicked the bucket in 1598. It's like being handed the last piece of a puzzle. Except this puzzle involves samurai, warlords, and a whole lot of drama. According to Hideyoshi's will, Ieyasu became the head of the five elders. But instead of playing by the rules, he decided to break Hideyoshi's prohibition on marriage between daimyo and went ahead and tied the knot with Fukushima Masanori and others. It's like saying, hey, rules are meant to be broken. Especially when it comes to love and political maneuvering. Not everyone was thrilled with Ieyasu's rebellious antics, though. Enter Ishida Mitsunari, one of Hideyoshi's top retainers and the head of the five commissioners. He couldn't bear to see Ieyasu going off the rails like a runaway samurai train. Knowing that Mitsunari would be a thorn in his side on his path to conquering the realm, Ieyasu decided to enlist the support of Kato Kiyomasa and his buddy, Fukushima Masanori, to bring Mitsunari down a peg or two. It's like forming a secret alliance against your rival and hoping they don't find out until it's too late. In 1600, Ieyasu formed an army to suppress the suspected rebellion of Uesugi Kagekatsu, one of the five elders. This military action, known as the Eizu Campaign, would later become the catalyst for the infamous Battle of Sekigahara. It's like a family feud that escalates into a full-blown samurai showdown. While en route to Eizu to quash Uesugi Kagekatsu, Ieyasu received word of Mitsunari's uprising. He immediately halted his advance and shifted gears to take down Mitsunari instead. Gathering disgruntled daimyo who held a grudge against the Toyotomi regime, Ieyasu formed the Eastern Army. It's like organizing a rebellion but making sure to send out RSVPs for maximum attendance. The Battle of Sekigahara, the turning point for the realm, unfolded in Mino province at a place called Sekigahara. At the start of the battle, the Western Army seemed to have the upper hand. But as time passed, more and more soldiers switched sides like samurai turncoats. It's like a game of musical chairs, but instead of chairs, it's war alliances. After about 6 hours of chaotic fighting, the commanders of the Western Army began retreating one after another, as if they were fleeing from a horde of angry sushi chefs. And then, out of nowhere, Kobayakawa Hideaki, who had been lounging on Mount Matsuo, decided to join the Eastern Army. He stormed into the ranks of the Western Army, led by Otani Yoshitsugu. Talk about a plot twist that even Shakespeare would envy. This turncoat move became the game changer, and Ieyasu's Eastern Army emerged victorious. A few days later, the fugitive Mitsunari was captured and executed on Kyoto's Sanjo Obara, marking the end of his rebellious escapades. It's like a dramatic finale that ties up loose ends and leaves the audience in awe. In the end, the Battle of Sekigahara was a roller coaster ride of shifting allegiances, surprising twists, and a samurai showdown for the ages. It just goes to show that in the realm of war and politics, you never know who will switch sides or who will end up as the last daimyo standing. Let's bring some humor to the story of Tokugawa Ieyasu's journey towards becoming the shogun and the establishment of the Edo Shogunate. After his triumph in the Battle of Sekigahara, Tokugawa Ieyasu was appointed as the Seii Taishogun, great general of the conquering eastern barbarians, by the imperial court in 1603. And just like that, the Edo Shogunate was born. It's like receiving a promotion and accidentally starting a whole new government in the process. In a comical twist, while Toyotomi Hideyoshi managed to rise to the rank of chancellor and maintain a good relationship with the imperial court, Ieyasu took a different route. He decided to become the Seii Taishogun and establish the shogunate in Edo, aiming to avoid interference from the court. It's like saying, why deal with politics when you can build your own headquarters and do things your way? However, here's the funny part, Ieyasu himself wasn't often in Edo. To keep the Toyotomi faction on their toes, he frequently made trips to Kyoto and spent a considerable amount of time in Fushimi Castle. It's like having a fancy office in one city but working remotely most of the time. Even after becoming the shogun, Ieyasu had to keep a vigilant eye to prevent any rebellions from the Toyotomi faction. There were still daimyo in the western regions who were inclined to join their cause. So he needed to undermine their power. It's like playing a never-ending game of daimyo whack-a-mole. That's when Ieyasu decided to undertake the construction of Edo Castle, with the aim of keeping the daimyo occupied and preventing them from causing trouble. He appointed over 70 daimyo from both eastern and western regions to participate in the castle's construction. It's like giving them a massive DIY project to keep them from starting any rebellions. Hey, guys, instead of fighting each other, let's build a castle together. As a result, the castle town began to take shape, and grand daimyo residences were built alongside it. It's like turning a construction site into a fashionable neighborhood and inviting all the daimyo to be your neighbors. Welcome to Edo, where the streets are paved with samurai dreams and architectural wonders. In this whimsical journey, Ieyasu found himself juggling between power plays, remote work in Fushimi Castle, and organizing a massive construction project to keep the daimyo entertained. Who knew that becoming a shogun would involve so much multitasking and urban planning? Let's add some humor to the story of Tokugawa Ieyasu's final triumph over the Toyotomi clan and his own longevity. In 1605, Tokugawa Ieyasu gracefully passed on the shogun title to his third son, Tokugawa Hidetada, and 2 years later, he relocated to Sunpu Castle, where he continued to hold the reins of political power behind the scenes. It's like retiring from your job but still pulling the strings from your cozy new home office. However, deep down, Ieyasu still had concerns about the Toyotomi clan. And it wasn't until the events of the winter and summer sieges of Osaka, between 1614 and 1615, that he could finally put those worries to rest. The sieges were held in both winter and summer, like an intense battle spanning 2 seasons of the year, and after fierce fighting, the Toyotomi clan met their demise. It's like having a never-ending sequel to a dramatic showdown, where the final chapter finally closes the book on the Toyotomi reign. Even after the biggest worry, the Toyotomi clan, was gone, it's said that Ieyasu maintained a frugal lifestyle, avoiding unnecessary extravagance as he had done since his youth. In an era when the average lifespan was around 40 years, Ieyasu defied the odds and lived until the ripe old age of 75. It's like he had some secret cheat codes for extending his gameplay. The reason for Ieyasu's longevity? Well, it's attributed to his simple diet of barley rice and miso soup, and his commitment to staying healthy through activities like falconry. It's like he discovered the elixir of life in a bowl of soup and a feathered friend. Move over. Fancy diets and expensive fitness regimens, I've got barley and falcons. So, in the end, Ieyasu not only outmaneuvered his rivals and secured his reign but also demonstrated the benefits of a simple and mindful lifestyle. Perhaps his success can be credited to his disciplined eating habits and his ability to keep boredom at bay with some feathery friends. Who knew that a bowl of soup and falconry could be the secrets to conquering the world and living a long, fulfilling life?